You hear that? Your dog knows. Spring is coming sooner than you think. Dog walks, dog parks, playing fetch, all the stuff your dog loves to do with you. But the warmer weather also means that fleas and ticks are coming back. Fleas and ticks are in the grass, in the woods, and even on their dog friends. Fleas are an itchy nuisance, can easily get into your home, furniture, and beds, which can be terrible. Ticks are even worse. They're hard to spot, but can carry disease and get your dog really sick. PetMeds has your furry friend protected with the best products to prevent flea and ticks all year long. PetMeds pharmacists connect directly with your vet to save you time and deliver the best products for your pet. PetMeds offers low prices on all flea and tick meds, including NexGard, Simparica, and more. And PetMeds AutoShip helps you save even more with additional discounts on regular shipments of pet meds, dog food, and other high-quality supplies. So get ready for all the spring fun now. Visit petmeds.com and use promo code PODCAST to save 40% on your first AutoShip order. That's petmeds.com and promo code PODCAST.
Greg is usually a fan of water cooler talk, but it's draft season, and that's all anyone wants to talk about. The Athletic has loads of articles about this year's draft, but Greg doesn't have The Athletic. So now he's filling up his water bottle in the bathroom sink, which, to remind you, is the sink people use after they use the bathroom. Get The Athletic and get the info you need to speak draft fluently.
Picture that super soft t-shirt you love sleeping in. The one that gets softer and softer the more you wear it. Now you can bring that same lived-in softness to your entire bed with signature vintage wash sheets from Boll & Branch. This all-new collection is even softer than your favorite t-shirt, with a distinctly relaxed look and feel for your best night's sleep. Just like all Boll & Branch bedding, signature vintage wash sheets start with the highest quality, 100% organic cotton. The lived-in feel comes from a small batch washing process, creating a level of softness you've never felt before. And it's not just the feel. Boll & Branch mastered the laid-back aesthetic using a special technique that creates the well-loved look you'll find with vintage jeans. And true to the Boll & Branch hallmark, signature vintage wash sheets get softer and softer with every wash. Right now, you can get 15% off your first order with promo code Odyssey and save on their most relaxing sheets. So head to bollandbranch.com today. That's BOLL and branch.com.
It's time to get in the zone. Time to get in the zone with the 49ers web zone. This is the No Huddle Podcast with Al and Brian.
It is a simulcast show. 49ers web zone, No Huddle Podcast. 49 Carats, Bully Ball Pod. She does a million things. Steph Sanchez is with us. I'm Al Sacco. He's Brian Renick. The newly engaged Steph Sanchez. Steph, I'm really excited to do the show with you today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be on. I haven't done a lot of mock drafts, so, this should be fun, especially 7th round, final one, just days before the draft. So we should have a better idea what the 49ers might do.
Cannot wait. Before we get started, a couple of housekeeping things for me. I want to say thanks to Panini. If you follow me on Twitter, I just gave away a Nick Bosa autograph card, Zenith numbered to 25, courtesy of Panini. And here's the box if you're watching on YouTube for Zenith cards. I did another giveaway this week with a ton of Niners cards from Panini Illusions, which has Joe Montana and Brock Purdy on the box, and also Panini Limited, which has George Kittle on the box. So check those out at panini.com. Always doing giveaways courtesy of Panini, giving fans cards, autographed, numbered stuff. They're absolutely fantastic. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, see me and Brian have some pretty cool shirts on. Show them here really quick. Those are courtesy of Homage. And if you look in the description, you can see a link to get your own Niners gear there. So a lot of cool stuff happening from Panini and from Homage, and a lot of cool stuff happening, guys, with the draft coming along. We're going to get to our mock draft, but it's the Niners. There's always stuff going on with the Niners. And today, Mike Silver dropped, I guess, a little bit of a bomb. Not that there hasn't been talk about maybe an Aiyuk trade happening, but when Silver says something, he's a friend of the show. We just had him on last week, and he's one of those guys I pay attention to. He said, don't rule out a deal that would send Aiyuk to another team. Steph, where's your head on this whole thing right now?
He did say anything is possible, and I was just on Bully Ball with Jay, and that kind of drove us nuts because it was a hedge on, saying it could happen, it might not happen, right? Like, okay, tell us something we didn't know before. I think the likeliness of it happening is pretty low, and the reason for that is because logically, I just look at this draft being top heavy at wide receiver. And so a lot of the teams in that first round that may need a receiver are probably going to opt towards having a receiver for 5 years on a rookie contract rather than having a guy maybe a couple years older. Sure, Brandon Aiyuk has been in the league. He has the experience, that's his plus side. But then you also have to pay him north of $25 million a year. So I just simply think that for teams, it wouldn't be worth it, especially for that first round, pick, which is what the 49ers to this point have been, looking to get, according to Mike Silver. I don't really buy executives or just outsiders thinking that the 49ers would do it for a second rounder plus a third. I just don't see that being worth the 49ers while, especially if what they're saying is true, that they want to keep Brandon Aiyuk, which I think is true.
Shout out to Cody on Twitter, @illegalgambler. He tweeted this right before we started, and I retweeted it because I loved it. And it said, will the 49ers trade Brandon Aiyuk? And then he tagged Mike Silver, and it was a clip from The Departed, and it was Mark Wahlberg. Maybe no, maybe yes. Maybe fuck yourself. It's just like, that's exactly essentially what the report was, right? It was like, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Who knows? Anything can happen. To me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You are trying to build around your 24-year-old quarterback. It doesn't make sense to trade the 26-year-old favorite target of his, a freshly 26, right? Brandon Aiyuk turned 26 in March. I feel like it's very safe to say that you still got at least 5 solid years of maybe not elite production. Maybe you got 3 to 4 of elite production and maybe 5 to 6 of solid production from Brandon Aiyuk. Deebo Samuel is getting older. I don't know that he's in the future plans of this team past the 2024 season. I don't think it makes sense to trade a receiver. I think it makes sense for them to add a receiver or two in this draft. And if they have their sights set on a 2024 Super Bowl run, I feel like those sights go away if you trade Brandon Aiyuk. So to me, it just doesn't make any sense. I like Mike Silver said, I mean, anything is possible, but outside of somebody wildly overpaying for Brandon Aiyuk in the form of draft capital, I just don't see it happening at all.
I used to say back when I was plugged in, I'm not plugged in anymore, but back when I used to have some sources here and there, I would get good information, I would get bad information, and I would get information that I'm pretty sure was good, but didn't happen. And then you kind of look like an idiot. So like a lot of people coming off with all this different stuff, I'm sure they're hearing it from somewhere. I mean, you get some people, and obviously I'm not putting Mike Silver in this group, but there's been a ton of rumors. Maybe some people have sources, maybe some people don't. But if Mike's coming out with this right now, there's credence to it. If he's putting this out today, he's hearing something. And that doesn't mean that anything is going to happen because it's a fluid situation. But to me, it's something to pay attention to. But I'm kind of with you, Brian. Like, you're paying him for the prime of his career, right? You're going to pay him basically if you extend him age 27 through 30 or whatever it's going to be. That's the prime of his career. And $25 million a year may sound like a lot right now. It's not, and it's not going to be. Devontae Smith just signed for $25 million a year. That's pretty much the going rate. If that's what Aiyuk wants, I don't think that's a crazy ask by any stretch of the imagination. I really don't, especially when Chase and Jefferson are about to get $30 million a plus year. Like in 2 years, you're going to be like, that's not a bad contract. And if you're not paying him, who the hell are you paying?
Yeah.
What after 2024, who are you building the team around? Purdy and then who? They better nail these next 2 drafts if they're going to trade Brandon Aiyuk. So that's kind of where I am with it. Like, I think they should resign him. If he wants 30, 35 million, okay, maybe we need to have a conversation. But if he wants 25 and 60 million guaranteed, it's fine. It's like 2-3 years essentially of what's going to be guaranteed money. Like, just go for it. So that's kind of where I am with that. I still think they need wide receivers anyway, because like you said, we don't know about Jennings' future. We don't know about Deebo's, but yeah, man, I think they should resign him. I'll be a little bit pissed if they trade him. And you're also worse in 2024 unless you're getting a mid-round pick. And Mike told us last week that's probably not on the table. He's like, not right now.
You mean a
no
mid
team is
first
gonna
round
give that
pick?
to the Niners. A mid first round pick. Sorry,
Yeah.
whatever I said. Yeah. That's probably not on the table. So you're not going to get Brian Thomas or whatever his name is. This is his name, right? The receiver.
Yeah, Brian
17.
Thomas.
So that's probably not going to happen. So you're going to make your team worse in 2024. And this is probably the last year with a lot of these guys, with, Kittle and Debo and Hargrave and Williams and all these guys together, at least at this level. This really could be the last year. So why weaken your team right now? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Not only that, but, John Lynch in his press conference yesterday said that they have first round grades on 22 players, which means that if you trade Brandon Aiyuk for anything less than pick number 22, you're not trading Brandon Aiyuk for a first round pick in your eyes. And so that to me also doesn't make sense. And I thought what was interesting is if and I wanted to bring this up with you guys before we did our mock, if the 49ers have 22 first round grades, do you feel like that makes it more likely that they are looking to trade up in the first round? Or do you think that means that they are likely looking to trade back out of the first round and get more mid-round picks?
I mean, just to add a little bit of color to, John Lynch saying we got 22 first round grades. I mean, it's not guaranteed that 22 of those guys go in the first 22 picks, sure. Right? So any one of those guys could potentially fall, maybe just a couple of picks right before the 49ers, and they might feel enticed to say, ooh, we should move up for him because we really like him. We have a first round grade for him, and we'd be guaranteed to get him. Now, given that, though, there is a chance, of course, that them at 31 doesn't give them a great chance to draft one of those 22 guys, even if any of them do slide a little bit. And so I think there is that possibility of the 49ers wanting to trade up. And I still think there's a possibility of them trading out of the first round. And I know that's not very popular. I, for one, would hate if I waited this long for this team to have a first round pick again, just for them to, trade it away. But, I think that's the reality of it. I think, John Lynch even acknowledged there are teams who are interested in moving up to 31 just because some of the teams that are available, some of the teams that have a pick in the early going of the second round maybe want to jump some of those other teams in earlier than them in those second rounds. So, I mean, I think anything is really possible in this scenario. So I don't know if it really changed anything for me to learn that. Which, probably is the reason why John Lynch felt okay to share that information, because I don't think it really gives too much of their draft strategy at all. I think anything is still on the table. I still think with the way that they've gone about free agency, they're probably still in a good position to go best player available. And that's exactly what I would want them to do, especially in the first round.
Yeah, I think when you really look at it, they have so many, not needs this year, but after this year, that they can go in a ton of different ways in the first round. I agree with you. I hope they don't trade back. I mean, not unless they get a really good deal and there's maybe guys they really like in the second or third round, but I'd like them to try to get an impact player. I wouldn't mind seeing them trading up because they do need to inject this team with a young impact player, because they haven't really done that the last three drafts. You have Purdy, Lenore, and then, that's really it, depending on what you think of Hufanga. So they need to, I think, get some young high-end talent to start taking over for some of these other guys that aren't going to be there in 2 years.
So then the question becomes, if they do trade up, what position do you think they would be targeting? Because it's interesting to me. They've traded up twice in the first round under Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. I guess technically 3 times. They traded back into the first round in their first draft to get Reuben Foster. That did not go the way that everybody thought it would. And then obviously the trade up for Trey Lance. And then the third one, and it's interesting because they traded up from 31 to 25 to draft the guy we just talked about, Brandon Aiyuk. And to me, if this team trades up, I think it's for one of 2 positions. It's because an offensive tackle fell, and I don't find that likely, or they trade up for the same reason that they traded up, and that's to get a wide receiver, this time to pair with Brandon Aiyuk. And I think that, you look at the board, and 25 this year is the Green Bay Packers. Not sure if you're trading with that team. But the team that really intrigues me is at 26 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That team has so many needs that I think they'd be more than willing to trade back 5 spots, right, and pick up. I don't know what it would take. I don't know if it would take 124, the 4th round pick they got for Trey Lance. I'm not sure. But I think if they trade up, I think they have targets in mind. I don't know who that would be. But like I said, I do think it would be a wide receiver. And if it's a wide receiver, then in my mind, it's a Brian Thomas Jr. if he falls. Again, I don't know if he would fall that far. But then the other ones that everyone is really talking about in that range is AD Mitchell. Some people talk about Xavier Worthy. I don't know that he's a 1st round pick. But yeah, I think it's interesting. Like I said, the last time they did it, it was for a wide receiver. We know Kyle Shanahan loves himself some wide receivers, and because that's the position he used to play. So it's interesting. I don't know.
I think if I had a guess for a position they trade up for, I think my money would be on offensive line, which is interesting because currently if they stand pat at 31, I have them maybe getting offensive line 25% chance, or 35 maybe, just because of who would be available there. But,
agree. I don't think at the tackle position anyway you're going to get a high end starter there. Like
right. So
it's
there's
not going
a
to be
chance
BPA at that point, right?
Right. So then there's a chance around, the 20s that you can end up with someone potentially, but, also wide receiver is going to be a prime spot. But then at that point, I don't know. I think I'd rather them, wait to see what happens at 31 and see if any of those guys. I personally, I like Xavier Leggett a lot. And I think he could be an option at 31 for this team. So I don't know. But yeah, if they traded up, I would definitely guess offensive line.
Well, I take that back. I do think they can get a starting center at 31. And I might be the only person in America who's obsessed with them taking a center in the 1st round. But that's kind of where my head's been at lately. We'll see if we get in this draft. I don't think you guys are going to agree with me when I'm telling you to take Zach Frazier. But
Philip has just lost the respect of the youth league football team he coaches. He was asked what New England should do in the draft, and his answer was objectively terrible. The Athletic just wrote a great article about this. But Philip doesn't have the Athletic or the respect of a boisterous group of 11-year-olds who once looked up to him. Learn from Philip's error, get the Athletic, and get the info you need to speak draft fluently.
At Alma, we know the connection between you and your therapist matters. But if you're already feeling stressed and burnt out, the idea of trying to find a therapist you really connect with can be overwhelming. That's why Alma's focused on helping you find the right therapist for you. When you browse their online directory, you can filter your search based on the qualities that are most important to you. Then you can book a free 15-minute consultation call with any therapist you're interested in seeing, so you can get a feel for whether they're the right fit before you commit to a full-length session. Alma also makes it easy for mental health care providers to navigate insurance. That's why 95% of therapists in their directory accept insurance per sessions. So you can find care that's affordable without stressing about the paperwork. You want to talk to someone, but not just anyone. Alma is there to help you find the right fit. Visit helloalma.com/therapy60 to schedule a free consultation today. That's helloalma.com/therapy60.
Call from mom. Answer it. Call silenced.
Instacart knows nothing gets between you and the game. That's why they make ordering from your couch easy. Stock up today and get all your groceries for the week delivered in as fast as 30 minutes without missing a minute of the game.
You have 47 new voicemails.
Download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 per order. Additional terms apply.
Let's see what happens. Let's pull it up and let's see where we go.
Let's do it.
I just think, I don't know. I feel like the interior of the O-line has to get better. I feel like Jake Brendel's 33, and we're taking a center at some point, guys. Yeah. At some point. I don't care when it is. We're getting one, at least. Take 4 centers at this point. I want to get a center.
I'll say this too. Yeah, Limmer's a good one. Bortolini is another, to me, great value. I'll say this too, that like corner wouldn't even shock me a whole lot. I think the Brandon Staley influence is larger in some of the like free agency decisions than I thought it would be. So I'm sure he'll have quite a say in the draft as well.
Yeah, that has been surprising how much it seems like they're kind of tailoring things, considering he's not even the defensive coordinator. Brad, can we make this a little bit bigger? Is that possible? If not, I can make my screen bigger.
Let me see if I can.
But yeah, like I feel like his fingerprints are all over this stuff, which is, I don't know. I thought he would be like a consultant and somebody to bring in to consult the defense, but it really does seem like his fingerprints are over what they're doing right now. So that's a great point. It could change their strategy. They haven't typically taken a corner, they haven't valued them high, but again, you look at the needs of this team, Lenore, Ward, their contracts are up after this season. So they're probably only going to be able to afford to sign one of them. So if that's the case, is a corner, is that something we're going to do? Can we get this bigger, Brian, or no?
That I did get a bit. It's bigger on my screen.
Okay. I'm just
so we're gonna start round one at the slowest setting, just because we just talked about whether or not they may move up if players fall, things like that. So we want to see kind of how this plays out. If there's a situation where, again, a tackle falls or something, we may look at possibly trying to trade up. So we'll start slow and then we'll pick up the pace for rounds 2 through 7. But let's go ahead and start this draft. I don't think there's any intrigue at pick 1. I feel like if I hit start draft and anybody but Caleb Williams pops up here, we just need to start over because Caleb Williams is going 1 to the Chicago Bears. But let's see.
I hope
what
it's not
PFF. Caleb Williams, there it is, pick 1.
I hope Zach Frazier doesn't go 1.
He did not. Jane Daniels 2, JJ McCarthy 3. That feels like that's not going to happen. Malik Neighbors 4, Marvin Harrison 5. I think Jim Harbaugh would do cartwheels if Marvin Harrison fell to 5.
Yeah.
Who went at 4?
I think it was Neighbors.
McCarthy went 3. Neighbors went 4. Drake May went 6.
Okay.
By the way, the Giants fans would absolutely have a heart attack if Drake May fell to them.
People are overthinking Marvin Harrison. I've seen some stuff too. People are like, "Oh, neighbor," like, dude, if he's there, you just hand in the card, man. Like,
yeah.
All right, so through pick 16, Joe Alt went pick 7. J.C. Latham went pick 9. Talise Fuaga went pick 10. Olu Fashanu went pick 13. Troy Fatanu went pick 15. So again, the tackles are going early. I think this is likely. I think this is pretty likely as well. You're looking at, at this point now, with Alt, Latham, Fuaga, Fashanu, and Fatanu all gone, I think your next tackle, right, is probably a Darius Mims. So it doesn't look like a tackle is going to fall into that 20 to 25 range to trade up for. So I don't know that we will be looking to trade up, but we'll see. We'll continue to resume. The Jaguars are on the clock, and they take Byron Murphy. I like it.
And he's going.
Graham Barton. Graham Barton went 18. That's the guy I forgot. Terry and Arnold 19. Brian Thomas Jr. gone at pick 20. Tyler Guyton at pick 21.
I don't know about Guyton.
Latu.
Yeah, right. It's really 22. It would be really early for him.
Well, again, the Dolphins do need offensive line help. I don't know if they would reach for Guyton. But again, looking at who is still available at 23 now. 23, the Vikings are on the clock. Darius Mims is still available. Guyton went before him. But in terms of tackles, I'm not sure that there's anybody that the 49ers would be willing to lose a pick to go after. As far as wide receivers go, again, it's the top 3, right? It's Harrison, Neighbors, and Adunze. And then it's kind of like, and then it's Brian Thomas, and then below Brian Thomas, we're talking about like A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, Troy Franklin, guys like that. Worthy and Mitchell are both available. The team's picking, it goes Vikings at 23, Cowboys at 24, Packers at 25, Bucks at 26, Cardinals at 27. If the 49ers want someone like A.D. Mitchell, right? If Adunze and Thomas and all those are gone. I would assume they'd have to get up above the Buffalo Bills, who don't have a wide receiver right now. Are we interested in trying to trade up for a guy like A.D. Mitchell, or do we just wait to see if he falls and be content to pick at 31 based on what is still available?
I think there's needs here. There's nobody I would want to jump for because I feel like this team has needs still. But again, you can talk me into anything. So
I'm the same. I think in the mock drafts I have done, I've grown pretty comfortable with waiting until 31 and just seeing who's there because since the 49ers shouldn't go for a need, I think there's a number of different positions they can target there. And in those positions, there's a few guys that I like. So there's a decent chance at least one of those guys will be available at 31. So I say let's take our chances.
So what I'll say is the 3 top edge rushers are gone: Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, and Leatu Latu. The top 2 the top 2 corners are gone: Terrion Arnold and Quinion Mitchell. The all of the tackles, right, that probably are worthy of a round 1 pick outside of Adarius Mims are gone. Only one defensive. There's two consensus defensive tackles with first round grades: Byron Murphy from Texas and Johnny Newton from Illinois. Murphy is gone, but Newton is still there. I don't know who they would trade up for. Again, in terms of cornerbacks, I don't think there's one worthy to trade up for. Although Cooper DeJean is still available. Kool-Aid McKinstry, although I'm a little wary of McKinstry with his Jones fracture and everything.
Same.
I think they let the board fall, and we'll see what's there.
Yeah.
So the Vikings the Vikings took Bo Nix because they did not trade up for JJ McCarthy.
Bo Nix is only 2 months younger than Brock Purdy.
Xavier Worthy went to the Packers. Nate Wiggins went to the Bucks. Cooper DeJean to the Cardinals. Kool-Aid McKinstry
the run
the
on corners.
You guys. A.D. Mitchell and Johnny Newton are on the board. Oh no.
Man. But you know what? I'll
It's
say this.
Sophie's
I also
choice.
love Johnny Newton, man. That just feels like a 49ers pick. I think 100%. The 49ers, if he was available, like they wouldn't be able to help themselves but get someone like him. I think that would probably be the likely pick if we are the 49ers, making this pick. But A.D. Mitchell is exciting.
Yeah.
I feel like you're go ahead, Brian.
I will say almost every mock draft that I've done, for whatever reason, Johnny Newton is almost always available at 31. I don't know what the reality is on that. I know there are some shortcomings there, but a lot of people, when they talk about Johnny Newton, one of the players that they comp him to the most is a guy that's already on the 49ers, and that's Javon Hargrave. Newton is 6'2", 295, so he's not, he's not the biggest guy, but I mean, look at in 2023, he had 8 sacks, 7 hits, 28 hurries. He had 4 sacks in 2022, 3 sacks in 2021. He had a pass rush grade of 84.0 from PFF in 2023. Their analysis, again, has some physical limitations due to his size, but just if you put on the tape, he's nothing but productive. But
I think this is a deep wide receiver draft. I agree with Steph. Like Newton has 49ers written all over.
It is not a deep. You're right. It is not a deep defensive tackle draft. It is a deeper wide receiver draft. But again, your next pick is until 63. Is there a wide receiver that would affect the game the way that A.D. Mitchell does at 63 or below? I'm not certain, but I know that there's not a ton of although the 49ers have also, as you would know if you went to Steph's Twitter and checked out her 2024 draft tracker, the 49ers have brought in 3 different defensive tackles on top 30 visits. They brought in Brandon Dorlus. They brought in Michael Thomas Jr., right? And is it Michael Thomas? No, it's not. What is it? The D tackle from
Michael Hall.
Michael Hall Jr.
Ohio
Thank
State.
you. From Ohio State, and they brought in one other. Again,
That'd
maybe
be
thinking that Newton isn't going to be there at 31. Again, this team drafts defensive line like nobody's business. I don't know. I don't know who wins in that. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan, wins when with his. Also, don't know if he likes AD Mitchell. But he is a wide receiver from Texas, which I think probably, is a soft spot for that player. But I defer to the two of you. I would take AD Mitchell. It sounds like you two are going Newton. So consensus says Newton. So we will pull the trigger at 31. The 49ers take Johnny Newton, defensive tackle, Illinois.
Yeah, and Hargrave is 31 years old. I thought he had a worse year last year than the year before with Philly. You have Elliott and Collins there. I don't think Elliott's very good from what I've seen and read. Collins I like, but again, 29. He doesn't have any guaranteed money after this year. They have flexibility. They need a long.
Xavier Legette just went at 35.
And Rosengarten going at the top of the second too.
Yep.
I know that's a player that they really like, but I think first, I don't know.
There's
Again,
another.
If they like him, they may pull the trigger at the end of the first. Who knows?
Yeah, I also think that they like Blake Fisher from Notre Dame, the right tackle from Notre Dame. They've brought him on a top 30 visit. All right, so pick 63. The 49ers are on the clock. Some names that are no longer available in the second round. AD Mitchell went 33, Jordan Morgan 34, Xavier Legette 35, Roger Rosengarten 36. All players tied to the 49ers.
Yeah, a lot of guys I like.
Yeah, Kingsley Suamatia gone at 38. Mike Sanders gone at 43. Zach Frazier. Al, I'm sorry. Zach Frazier gone at 48.
Bitch, I should have traded up to 5 for him. I told you guys.
Franklin gone at 49. Patrick Paul gone at 53. Again, all of the tackles that feel like they had a round 1 or 2 grade are gone now. Malachi Corley gone at 59.
Oh, she's another one I was thinking of.
Malachi Corley gone at 59. And then Karen Amagaji from Yale gone. So one guy that isn't gone and a guy that they brought in on a top 30 visit, even though the 49ers went defensive line with their first pick, Chris Braswell, the edge from Alabama, still on the board. Jonah Ellis, the edge from Utah. Christian Haynes, a guard from Connecticut. I'm a big fan of that guy. I don't know that they'd go guard this high. Marshawn Nealand, another guy that they brought in. They brought in two edge rushers that I think they have their eye on, Braswell and Nealand. If you don't take them here, they will be gone by the time you pick next. Andrew Phillips, who they've also had in on a top 30.
Yeah, that's a name that's sticking out to me at corner.
Brandon Dorless, another guy they brought in on a top 30, still available. Blake Fisher is there. Is he going to be there at 94? Hard to know. I would venture to say no.
I would say not.
So again, but do you have Blake Fisher higher than you have Chris Braswell or Marshawn Nealand? I doubt it. And again, if we're the 49ers, we're going best player available because there aren't any holes to fill. That's what they did use free agency for. To me, it's a decision between Braswell and Nealand. And if I'm making that choice, I probably go Braswell. He has a quicker first step and he's coming from Alabama as opposed to Nealand, who, on tape just wrecks games, but he wrecked games at Western Michigan, which is, the competition is a little bit lower. I don't think I would take Andrew Phillips over those two. But that's just me. What about you guys?
I'm liking Andrew Phillips, but I hate the idea of going defensive lineman 2 picks in a row this early. I guess in hindsight, knowing that a couple of those guys would be available, maybe wouldn't have gone Johnny Newton in the first round. But I mean, yeah, I could be swayed to double dip on defensive line this early. But for that reason, if I didn't want to go defensive line, 2 picks in a row right away, I like Andrew Phillips. I think he fills a need. The one thing with him though, like, do you want to go this early for basically just a nickel corner? I think at the NFL level, he's only going to be a nickel corner. The only guy that I think I'd go that high for, knowing he'd probably just be a nickel guy, would be Mike Sainrisville from Michigan. He's a dog, man.
He went at the top of round 2.
Yeah. So he's gone. And so I don't know if, for me, it's a little rich on Andrew Phillips at 63.
What about another guy that they brought in on the top 30, Javon Baker, the wide receiver from UCF, who most likely will not be there when you pick again at 94.
It's crazy how these mocks have changed their, like, because I did a mock like a couple weeks ago and I got Baker in like the 4th round,
right?
which I think is more likely.
And I had Andrew Phillips in the 3rd in a mock I did, and Jonah Ellison in 4th. So like it's the way some of these are shaking out. So again, I'm trying to do. So what would Al Sacco do versus what would the Niners do? And just knowing the Niners, and I think again when you look at it, I know they signed Gross Matos. I know they signed Leonard Floyd. We have no idea what Gross Matos is going to be. It's not like he's been this terrific player that they brought in that's been super productive. He's like a projection guy.
And those are those are 2-year contracts as well.
Short-term type stuff. Leonard Floyd, 2 years really can get out of it after 1. Again, was he 32? These are not long-term fixes. So yeah, they address defensive line, but they've also built their team around defensive line. And I don't think that they have long-term fixes there other than Bosa. So I feel like if somebody like Braswell is there, they really, they're like, okay, this guy can start for us. I think, again, getting in the 49ers heads, I think they feel like they draft really well late in some of these holes that they need at corner and receiver. It's deep at receiver in this draft. I think they feel they can get there. Getting in their head here, as much as, again, defensive.
If the board fell this way in real life.
If it fell this way, I think I would go with the edge here.
I think they would as well.
Realistic. Yeah, I'm good with going Braswell, Nealon, or Blake Fisher.
Chris Braswell, edge, Alabama, at pick 63.
Yeah, and I think so.
Andrew
Fisher
Phillips
was
went at 70.
Fisher is a good. We didn't mention him, Steph, but I almost feel like they might, if they don't take tackle early, which they may not. I think you might be looking at a Colton McKivitz situation where they get somebody in the 4th or 5th round that they like because they're bringing back their starting offensive line this year. Yeah. Maybe that they like where he's going to kind of redshirt this year or whatever, and then can step in year 2 with the later round picks. So Fisher was somebody I thought about too, but I think again, just the way the board is falling, I think they would take the edge there.
All right. So pick 94, the 49ers are back on the clock. Again, using PFF's mock draft simulator, top 3 players still left on the board based on their PFF big board ranking. Spencer Rattler, quarterback out of South Carolina, obviously not going that route. But some intriguing, 2 intriguing guys here. A guy that they've brought in, and we know how important that is. Like, if you pay attention to how the 49ers draft, they will draft guys that they've brought in. Like, they at least 2 or 3 of them every year. Eric All, the tight end out of Iowa, who had an ACL injury that ended his season last year. But without that ACL injury, arguably the best pass-catching tight end prospect in this draft. Also, Malik Washington, the little slot receiver from Virginia. Mason McCormick, guard out of South Dakota State. Tyrone Tracy, running back from Purdue. Let's see what wide receivers are available right now. Malik Washington, Jamari Thrash, Jacob Cowing, Aniyah Smith. Brendan Rice is still available. He of Jerry Rice loins.
Again, I had Aniyah Smith. I got him at 225 in another draft. It's so high for me, I feel like.
This is
because I like him. He's a kick returner option for them.
I like him too.
That's how high he is.
Cowing is another one that would be again at 5'8". You're like, but as a kick returner, I think would be big time. Offensive tackles that are available currently. Dominic Pooney from Kansas, Matt Goncalves, I don't know. Goncalves, spelled Cavs. I don't know. Here's another guy that may be able to be had later. The 49ers have 94, 124, 132, and 135. Caden Wallace, the tackle out of Penn State, another guy that they brought in on a top 30 visit. Blake Fisher and Caden Wallace being the two tackles I think are most likely to end up being on the 49ers, depending again on how the board falls, is still available. There are higher ranked tackles via PFF. So again, may be available at 124, 132, or 135.
What's Malik Washington? How big is he?
I
small.
mean, Washington, yeah, he probably projects to be a slot receiver at the next level.
He's 5'8" as well. Yeah.
I like him though. He's talented.
Yeah. Oh, he's fun to watch. He's but he is just a slot only. And again, I mean, the 49ers current slot only is Juwan Jennings. You couldn't get any different.
Maybe that's what they need.
True. Cornerback still available. Kalen Carson from Wake Forest, Jerrion Jones from Florida State, Chris Abrams-Drain from Missouri, Jarvis Brownlee, Louisville, Chow Smith-Wade, a guy that they brought in, cornerback from Washington State. Again, Chow, I think, is a nickel only.
Cam Hart is gone here from Notre Dame. Looks like he's gone.
Cam Hart was gone.
Yeah, this is a crazy.
Oh no, he's not gone. He's not gone. He's still there.
So they have him way lower than I.
Kamarian Richardson is another, also a guy that they brought in, still available.
I love the idea of receiver here. I admittedly don't know a lot about Malik Washington, so I don't know if he's the right receiver to take. But position wise, I'd be all over wide receiver in the third round.
So to me, again, if Eric All is a guy that they brought in, they've done their work on him. They are interested in him. With him being available right here, you get another pick at 124, and like I said, 132 and 135. I think if All is here, then to me, it's either Eric All or Jared Wiley. But the thing is they brought Eric All in. They have not brought Jared Wiley. But those are the two best pass catching prospects at the tight end position. I think you would. I think they would go with who they brought in over, somebody else. So to me, if you don't take All here, then I don't think he's available at 124. Whereas I think you could find a wide receiver at 124, and I don't know that they're interested in someone like a Malik Washington. So for me, Eric All is probably the pick here. What about you guys?
My concern with Eric All, while yes, I do see the connections, obviously, with the 49ers loving Iowa tight ends, he has a lot of injury history.
True. That is true.
And some that I don't know if I can get past it. Now, could the 49ers get past it? That's another question. Clearly, it's obvious they would love the fact that, he fits kind of what they typically would like as a tight end. And also, Iowa system seems to work pretty closely with what the 49ers like their tight ends to do. I actually, as far as tight ends go, I'd be comfortable waiting on that because I actually like Ben Sinnott or Sinnott or whatever you say it. I like him a lot. And I think he could potentially be available. And if not, I'd be comfortable waiting. But again, if we're doing it from the Niners perspective,
right,
would they go for Eric All? They very well could. What do you think, Al?
What about the guard here? You have two guards whose contracts are up at the end of the season.
I really, 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 really like Mason McCormick. And I think he's tailor-made for what the 49ers do on offense. Even if you just read his write-up on from PFF, his zone blocking grade is 94.7. And their write-up is, McCormick pairs a mauling mentality with explosive athleticism. His hips are a tad stiff, which limits his flexibility, but he has the potential to be a starter in his own blocking scheme. Or what it could have said was made for the 49ers. So I don't know if they'd be willing to go guard, right? They haven't gone tackle yet. They don't feel like they have a need at guard. We feel like they have a need at guard. And maybe they do feel like they have a need at guard, but Steph, correct me if I'm wrong, they haven't brought any guard prospects. They've brought, he's a guard only. He's not, everyone that they brought in could be tackle, guard, flexibility, right? Which is what they tend to like. This guy is straight up a guard only.
Yes, they haven't brought in any guards. At the same time, though, it wouldn't shock me if the 49ers felt that right guard was a bigger need in the next 2 years than tackle and right tackle, right? I think Spencer Burford obviously is not the answer. It's the reason you re-signed John Feliciano on a 1-year deal. So, I mean, they have to have an answer there within these next couple of drafts. This would probably be the draft to do it. So I'd be comfortable with this pick, quite honestly.
I would love in real life. I would love this pick. So, all right, let's go. Mason McCormick,
McCormick,
guard from South Dakota State.
So this is not falling the way I thought it would at all.
Not at all.
I mean, not even. I think I've been thrown off in every round so far.
Ben Sinnott just went off the board at 101, and all went off at 104.
Yeah, it's just not falling the way that I thought it would, and I don't feel like I've hit on some positions I wanted to hit on early. But again, did you just?
Damn.
Do we have 3 starters on the line?
Oh, Brendan Rice just went 122. Brendan Rice just went 122.
So I'm looking at him right now. I love Audric Estime. Love him. I think he's going to be a good running back at this level. I don't think the Niners are going to take him, but Salin Vakai, the safety, is a guy that they brought in.
Yeah, that guy intrigues me. He's a two-way player, right? Running back and safety. They brought him in. Safety is a need. What wide receivers are available? Because
we are shitting.
We're starting to. It's about that time that we're getting concerned about not having a receiver.
I do like, and I think they do. So Bub Beans is another guy they brought in. I don't think you take him here.
Guy, right?
Yeah. He's a bit bigger though. He's 6. I think he's 6'2", isn't he? 6'2". So he's a vertical receiver. But again, it's more depth than anything. The only one that again interests me right now is Luke McCaffrey. But again, I don't know that you need to take him at 124. That's a bummer. Tight end. Theo Johnson, Jaheim Bell, and Dallin Holker. I think Tip Ryman is a 49er, but he's a kind of a blocking only tight end, but he's really, really athletic. I think Jaheim Bell is intriguing to me. I think you could, I think he's like Deebo Samuel, just bigger. And I think you could do a lot of fun things with him. Theo Johnson is also another guy that intrigues me at tight end. I do think that they come out of this draft with at least one, with a tight end. I don't know if it's right now. Tackle might be what Caden Wallace is there. Al is interested in center.
Is Bo Limmer there?
Tanner Bordellini, the center from Wisconsin, is still available here at pick 124. I think it's a guy that they could be looking at. 6'4", 310. Bordellini brings an alluring combination of versatility, high football IQ, and top tier athleticism. I think he could be somebody that they look at as an heir apparent at center because they don't have one right now. Or Bo Limmer.
Corners that are here.
Corners that are available. Chris Abrams-Drain, Jarvis Brownlee, Chow Smith-Wade, Miles Harden, DJ James, Cam Hart, and DeCamarion Richardson. Yeah. I think at 124, 132, and 135, bunch that way. I think if you can come away with a corner, a tight end, and a wide receiver, I think that would be a win in my mind. Whether or not those are the highest rated on the board, I'm not sure. But again, DeCamarion Richardson is a guy that they brought in on a top 30 visit. I love connecting.
Smith-Wade as well.
Yeah, Smith-Wade as well. And now we're on the clock at 135. So the next pick after 135 is 176. Wide receivers, again, Luke McCaffrey is available. Don't know that he'd be available at 176. Could still be available. Not sure. Offensive tackle, Caden Wallace is here. To me, this is the pick. I know that means that they drafted 3 offensive linemen, but let's be perfectly honest. I think that's a need. The guys that they have drafted really haven't panned out. Like we said, Spencer Burford hasn't panned out. Aaron Banks is playing for a contract. Guards are expensive now. I don't know that they'll want to pay Banks if the market looks like it did next year. Jake Brendel is old. They haven't found anybody to back him up. I don't think taking 3 offensive linemen is out of the question, because again, it's an older offensive line, and an offensive line that is in need of infusion of talent. And so, I to me, this is the pick. I know we still haven't addressed cornerback. We did safety, but not cornerback.
Or wide receiver.
Smith Wade,
or
wide receiver. Yeah. Smith Wade is still here. Cam Hart, DeCamarion Richardson. I think one of Hart or Richardson would be there at 176. I don't think Caden Wallace would be there. For me, I'm going Wallace. What about you guys?
I'm good with that.
Sacco is good with that, yeah. Because I
Right.
I think they need to adjust the offensive line a lot. So
you could argue that they lost 2 Super Bowls because of the offensive line. So
yeah, and you're about to pay a quarterback a shit ton of money. I think you need to invest in that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is assuming Brandon Aiyuk is still on the football team. So
correct. In this scenario, Brandon Aiyuk still. Oh, Cam Hart just went. No, DeCamarion Richardson went to the Rams. Bummer.
I'm assuming McCaffrey's long gone here too.
Don't know. The other guy, Trevin Wallace just went at 163. That was another guy that I was thinking about. That's a guy that they brought in along with Bethune, the linebacker from Florida State. All right, so let's see. Wide receiver. Yes, McCaffrey is gone. Bub Means is still there. We didn't take tight end, did we? Tight end Tip Ryman is still there, and so is AJ Barner, but those are 2 blocking tight ends. What about running back? Isaac Guerendo's there, guys. Isaac Guerendo is there. Isaac Guerendo's there at 176. That's your kick returner.
Yeah, I don't think the 49ers would be able to help themselves. I can't.
To draft a 4-3-3 running back? Agreed.
Yeah, I think if he's there at this point, 100%, yeah.
Tony Pauline a few weeks ago tweeted out that the 49ers have a 3rd round grade on Guerendo.
I saw that and then deleted it.
Yeah. So I think they'd be happy if for some reason he lasted till the 5th round and they could get it.
Agree. They're running the card up here.
The last pick in the 5th round.
Yeah.
But listen, the 5th round, man, that's the money round. So that means that Isaac Guerendo is going to be an all-pro, guys. Boom.
And again, somebody that, look, McCaffrey could be, he's got almost 800 touches the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mitchell is not going to be on the team after the season. Mason's likely not going to be. They need to go somebody. Carson Steele's a guy I know they just looked at from UCLA. But I think, I agree with Steph. They can't help themselves if Grando's there. Man, did we drop the ball on receiver and corner though right now?
Yeah.
Did we drop the ball or did we just not
the way things fell to us? I think we're looking at there's going to be positions that the Niners come out of this draft not addressing, right? There's no way they can say, it's just going to go that way. And I think for us, the way the board has fallen, we've really, put the emphasis on the lines, which I don't think anybody can argue with, right? If you get better in the trenches, but we got to take a receiver. I'm kind of pissed.
I think they're going to, I believe they will exit this draft with a linebacker, but the 2 that they brought in are gone already. I really like Dallas Gant out of Toledo, just a straight up coverage linebacker. I think they'd be intrigued by that guy and his measurables, but I think you could wait on that. Wide receiver, again, Bub Means is still there. Tight end, AJ Barner is there. That's a guy I think that they could bring in again as a blocking tight end. Eric Saubert got $1 million guaranteed. I don't think that would stop them from drafting a guy. Cornerback is still Elijah Jones. Elijah Jones is an intriguing pick to me. Yeah. I think Elijah Jones is an underrated player, and we have not addressed cornerback yet this draft. To me, that would be my pick is Elijah Jones, the cornerback out of Boston College.
If we're going BPA, I think that would be the way to go.
Boom, 6th round, 211, Elijah Jones. And then back on the clock at 2:15. So the one thing that I don't like about PFF's mock draft simulator is you can't look at the players that you've drafted so far.
Picked. It drives me nuts because by the end I forget what positions I've addressed.
So I'm trying to think. So we've
I wrote everything down.
Newton.
So
tell us, Al, where are we at so far?
So we got Johnny Newton at defensive line in the first round.
Okay.
Chris Braswell, is that his name?
Yep.
Edge. Mason McCormick at guard. Vakai safety. Bordellini center. Caden Wallace tackle. Morendo running back. Jones cornerback. So we haven't addressed linebacker, receiver, tight end.
Okay, picture this. It's Friday afternoon when a thought hits you. I can waste another weekend doing the same old whatever, or I can conquer it. I can hop into my all-new Hyundai Santa Fe and hit the road. Any road. The steeper, the better. Because my all-new Santa Fe is available with H-Track all-wheel drive, so I can hit the trail without a worry in the world. Heck, with 3 rows and best-in-class rear cargo space, I can pack the whole family in with all our gear. We've got available dual wireless charging for our phones, so we'll never lose touch with civilization, and we won't lose touch with the primordial power of Mother Earth. So which is it? Waste the weekend or do something a little more epic? And conquer it in the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. Hyundai, there's joy in every journey.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage, to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's here to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 15% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast.
Linebacker, again, really not Jalen Ford from Texas, but not really a coverage linebacker. I think it feels like one of the things they learned from the Super Bowl is if you've got 2 really good coverage linebackers, but none of the other linebackers can cover, and one of those coverage linebackers get hurt, you're going to get exposed. And that happened to them in the Super Bowl with Oren Burks. I think they want to remedy that situation. So I think they're looking for a linebacker who can cover. Jalen Ford is not that. Dallas Gant is, but they haven't been connected to him at all. Wide receiver again. Next pick is 251. This could be where you take a Bub Means, a guy that they've brought in. 41 receptions on 82 targets for 718 yards and 6 touchdowns at Pitt in 2023. He's 6'2", 215. Could be a guy that you take a flyer on at the end of the 6th round. Or towards the end of the 6th round. Yeah. Again, we haven't addressed wide receiver at all or tight end. You have, again, AJ Barner. He of the 6'6", 251 frame says, though Barner won't give you much in the receiving game, he's an ideal tight end 2-3 for a team that likes to run heavy formations like the 49ers. I think one of those 2 would probably be the selection here.
Agree.
I think Means may be there at 251. I don't think Barner will be there at 251. What do you guys think? Don't forget,
I
there's
think wide
also
receiver is the more premium position.
Yeah.
So
I would take the
I'd
receiver.
go.
All right. Oh,
What are we doing? Means? Is that what we're taking?
yeah. Bub means.
Bub means with 215. And then the last
Yep.
pick, right?
251, going to be the last pick.
So
Son.
if I'm, as much as the board is falling how it has, if I'm watching this from home, I'm screaming at the television that they did not get a couple wide receivers in this wide receiver draft. Now for us, we're not, obviously we don't know some of these guys. They may love that we glossed by their names and didn't think twice. So who knows? But while I love that they've adjusted offensive line like this, we took 3 of them. I think going back, I might, if we know, I might replace one of those with a receiver.
I still don't know if the board fell the way that it did for us in the first round, and AD Mitchell and Johnny Newton were both there. I know we took Johnny Newton, and we did that because we were trying to get in the 49ers mindset, but I still think they might go AD Mitchell there, but I don't know. Al, you want to draft your guy from Notre Dame?
No, he's not
Sam
my
Hartman.
Not my guy. If we're playing like Northwestern Kentucky State, yeah, he's your guy. But like if you're playing a big time program, he's not your guy.
This guy right here, again, not to draft him now because we've drafted 3 offensive linemen. I think Frank Crum is an interesting prospect from Wyoming. He's just a massive human being. 6'7", 315. Could be again a developmental tackle. There's just not a whole lot left on the board. We haven't drafted a linebacker. The guy I've talked about, Dallas Gant, is there. He has an 83.0 coverage grade from PFF. Played at Toledo with Quinion Mitchell. 6'3", 230. Started at Ohio State and then transferred to Toledo. A sure tackler who impresses a run defender and in coverage. To me, that screams 49ers. I don't know about you guys.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. Steph?
Yep. No objections.
Let's go. Beautiful. All right.
So that's it. Is it going to pull up all the picks when we're done here? Okay.
Yep.
And then I just want to read you guys real quick the mock draft that I did going into this, thinking if we were just going to say our mock, it is way off from what was here. But all right. So we took Newton.
Johnny Newton, defensive tackle from Illinois at 31.
We got an A grade on that, according to Pro Football Focus. Chris Broswell, the edge at 63. We got a B on that. Mason McCormick, guard, which I think was a really good pick in terms of the way the board fell, and the Niners, B+ there. Vakai, the safety, at 124, we got a B-. Tanner Bordellini at center, they gave us a B-. I think that's a better pick than a B-. Caden Wallace, the tackle, at 135, B+. Isaac Rendo, they gave us a D+ for getting him at 176.
Partly because their ranking is 190, but yeah.
That's ridiculous. Elijah Jones, cornerback. We got a B on that one. Bub Means, wide receiver, C-. Dallas Gant, linebacker, C+. Overall, we got a B. That's probably what I would give the
draft rank, top 72% of 49ers drafts. Not bad.
Good draft. Fell weird.
Not bad.
The draft that I had coming into this, you guys, I had Zach Frazier, because that's my guy. That's why I was taken in the first round. Malachi Corley, Andrew Phillips, Tyler Davis, defensive tackle, Jonah Ellis at 132, edge, Matt Gonclaves, whatever the hell that guy's name is, the tackle from Pitt at 146. Vakai I had at 176 from Utah. Carson Steele was my running back at 211. Aeneas Smith was my wide receiver kick return. He was there at 215. What did he go in the 4th round in this draft? And then I had Isaac Rex. I took a tight end at the end. So it shaped up very different than what I thought it was going to be. But I guess we'll take it. I don't know, guys. I think we did okay, but I'm a little bit concerned about the lack of receivers.
What do you give the odds that the 49ers trade up in round 1? If you're saying 100% they do it or 0% they don't.
I'm going to go 65%.
Nice. Yeah, I was going to go 60.
Fair. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. It just depends on how the board falls and who falls, and again what they value. I feel like we don't really know what they value. We value things. We value obviously receiver and interior O-line, but do they? I don't know, but we're going to find out in a couple days.
We are. It's 2 days away, guys. I think what I'm most excited about, not only that they have a first round pick, but I'm just really excited to put the Brandon Aiyuk stuff to bed. And that, to me, that happens after Thursday. So
I agree, 100%.
Here we go.
All right, we got to get out of here. Steph, thanks so much. This was awesome. Always love having you on and doing this stuff with us. And anytime, open invitation for you to come on here. So
thanks for having me, guys. It was so much fun. Here's to hoping the 49ers do better at getting a wide receiver than we did today. But all in all, I think it was a solid draft.
I think we did okay. And Brian and I'll be back Thursday night, Brian, right? We're going to hop on after the pick, or one of us or both of us or something. You'll hear from us Thursday night on YouTube and the next day for the podcast. Thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Later.
9 3. 1, 2, 3.
.2400 Sports is an Odyssey company.